What's up everybody, it's your boy F for the win. I'm back again with another video, and today I'll be showing you guys the easiest way to remove the valve cover and change the gaskets. I also will be showing you guys how to remove the coils and the spark plugs the easiest way possible. So what you first do is you get a flathead screwdriver and you remove those 3 screws in the front cover of the manifold. You remove the cover for the manifold, put it to the side. So once you remove the cover, everything is easier to work on. Here's when I'm going to show you guys what to do next. So what you do from here is you remove all 3 of the coil wires, as shown here in the video. So from here we're going to focus on the clips that's holding down the wire harness. So there's about 3 clips that you could use a needle nose to pinch it. These two 10mm bolts that I'm pointing at, gives you a lot of leverage later on, so make sure you take these bolts out. They're very important. So it took me a while. The clips were giving me issues. Took them out though. I used the cutter to get rid of some of them. I'm gonna put tie wraps to put it back on. But so far I removed that clip. There's also a connector down there that connects right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it right there underneath this coil. It's a connector that connects right down there. Right down there. So what you want to do first is you want to remove the coils before you get to the valve cover. So I'm about to show you guys how to do that right now. It's all 10mm. Supposedly it's a 6 to remove the hectagon for the coils, but I was having a little bit of problems and I didn't want to strip the bolts. So what I did was I went ahead and used special tools to go ahead and use it. My dad loaned me some of his tools, and that's how I was able to get the coils out. As you can see, I took out the coil in my cylinder 1, and there was obviously a lot of oil on there, because the gaskets are already bad for that side. Well, that specific cylinder. And I'm going to show you guys how bad it is. Like, you can see how much oil there is in that cylinder compared to the other ones. But I'm going to show you guys right now how to remove the coils. It's relatively easy once you break the tension of the bolts. You have the right tools. Please make sure you have the right tools, because you do not want to strip those bolts. So far it's just my cylinder 1 that has the leak. That gasket is really bad because the other 2 cylinders are squeaky clean. Like, you see no oil coming from the cylinders at all. So that I'm just change all the gaskets since I'm gonna be right there. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. So as shown right here, there are a couple hoses that need to be removed in order for you to have leverage. One of them is that one right there. There's one right there, and then there's another one in the back that you gotta remove. They're easy to remove, just get a needle nose like how I said. You just pinch both sides and move it up, and it's easy. And then with this right here, you'll get a whole lot of leverage once you remove all the bolts like how I showed you guys earlier in the video, and it'll be very easy for you. So there's a couple bolts you're gonna remove. There's a 6 bolts to remove the valve cover, but what you're gonna do first is you're gonna want to separate the throttle body. What I did was, for the easiest way, I separated the throttle body right there where it meets with the gasket and the manifold, because trust me, you don't want to remove the whole intake and everything, because that's going to be a bigger headache that nobody's not trying to deal with. There's 4 bolts that are 12mm bolts. What I did was I used a ratchet to go ahead and take it out That way it could be easy. Whatever is easy for you guys, to use. But all I know is it's a 12mm bolt. There's two bolts and there's two nuts. So just be mindful of that. You're gonna want to separate that, and that's what I did. I separated it by using
what I did was move the hose, the intake. I moved it, it's flexible, so I moved it around so that way I can get to the bolts in the back underneath, and the other one over there. But you see it separated. What I got to do is actually remove all these. These are actual 10s. All these bolts are on here are actual 10s.
As you can see, I started removing all the 10mm bolts that was on the valve cover. The reason why, I had to do a voiceover is because there's a lot of noise in the back. They're currently doing construction in the garage. So, I just started removing the bolts so I could show you guys how it's done. And just continue to watch.
So what you're gonna do is, I already took all the bolts out. There's like little rivets right here. You just pry it up a little bit. Pull it up. Don't pull it up too fast, because you could, break something. Doesn't smell, bad at all. There it goes. Here's the gasket right here. I'm actually gonna reuse this gasket because it's still good. This gasket's good. I'm gonna slightly take it off. There's actually 9 bolts. 2 right there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 2 don't come out. There you go. I'm about to remove them right now.
When you're removing these 12mm bolts, there's 9 of them. Make sure you be careful and don't put, too much pressure when you're, either, loosening them or tightening them, because you will, mess up the aluminum. Remember, everything in there is basically aluminum. So just be careful and, just do what I'm doing, taking my time and just, doing everything sequence. I don't want to, mess up anything. What I forgot to mention is there's 2 bolts on the side of the manifold, that also need to be removed. It's holding a hose. There's 2 bolts, so there's one up top and there's one underneath the connector that you removed earlier. They're both actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're both a 10. So remove those 2 bolts. They come with washers, so make sure you don't lose the washer when you're removing it. And that's about it.
You have to move this out the way completely, get it off the bolts in order to lift this up, because it was nearly impossible to move this up. Look, as you can see.
So once you remove the intake manifold, as you can see, there's a couple gaskets. So what I did was, to prevent any debris or anything from getting in, I used tape to go ahead and cover the holes. I'm going to show you guys, exactly what I did. And it's just, to prevent anything from going in there. You don't want anything to go in there and then, boof, your engine is done. So just be very careful. Put tape, you can even put, a rag or just something to cover it, So I'm going to show you right now. So once you do all this, you're going to remove the, the 5 bolts for the valve cover, and they're 10mm. I wasn't able to, I removed it, but during, the recording, I had to stop because I cut my finger, while removing it and while removing the gaskets. I'll explain it more in the video, but that's basically what happened.
Hey guys, I'm back. So far, I put everything back. Was able to get it done. My spark plug 1, cylinder 1, was where all the leakage was coming from because the gaskets were bad. What you need for the gaskets to remove them, remove that, that gasket, circular gasket, you need to get a little chisel and, a hammer and pry it out, because it took me a while. I actually cut my hand. That's why I stopped recording. I got frustrated, but I was able to finish that. The back, I changed the spark plugs. It's the same exact results as what I did over here in the front. I the same exact in the back. You know, with the 10mm bolts for the top, you know, to remove everything. Not for this, but you know, for the 5 bolts right there, you know, those 2 that are right there, you see, those are also washers, and it has the gaskets too. I replaced that. It's on the same in the back too. Then I changed the spark plugs. The socket I used is a 5/8. Make sure it's a deep socket, 5/8. It's a deep socket. I also use extender. There's an extender, so you can go in. I also have a magnet. You know, it's always good to have a little magnet. I have a magnet so I can grab the spark plugs, because you know it's deep inside there. I put new coils. I'm gonna show you guys the cylinder 1, how much like oil was leaking through, because the gasket was really bad. That was the main cylinder. I didn't have no check engine, you know, light or anything, or no misfire, but you know, it was good to change it now. I caught it before it got worse. That was the main one. Even the coils, the coil for that one was full of oil, and the spark plug, everything else was good. So I knew it was just that gasket, and everything's good. But like I said, the same thing that you do for right here, the first 3 cylinders, is the same you do for the back. That's basically it. I'm gonna wrap this video up. Thank you for watching. Like I said, sorry I wasn't able to record everything, but I recorded the gist of how to remove it. I cut my hand, so you know, had to tend to that. But other than that, everything else is good. Checked everything, make sure everything's aligned. See, look, put back the throttle body, put back all the connections, the hoses. The one in the back, you gotta put back this one and this one right here, you know. Then to take off this wire harness, it's the same like in the back. There's 2 bolts, one is right there, one is right there. Take that off and you should be good to go. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.